So, welcome back to another episode of our Resolution Insight series. And today I'm joined by Naomi, who's going to talk to us a little bit about neutral assessments. And I guess from my perspective, before I joined Resolution at work, I don't really know anything about neutral assessments. And I think there's probably quite a few people out there who don't. So, what I thought would make sense is for us to just talk through it and break it down. And the way Naomi explains it is always beautiful. So, I just wanted to record that, capture it, and give it to the world. So, Naomi, welcome
No
to
pressure.
No pressure at all. Be perfect. Genuinely, the way you explain it is super clear. I think it's really important to kind of get that out into the world. So, breaking it down simply to start off with, can you tell us what neutral assessments are and when it makes sense to use them?
Absolutely. So I think it's probably most straightforward to think of it as a kind of a culture review. So neutral assessment by another name. But it's a really flexible tool to use for teams that have been through something or have something rumbling under the surface. So you might have seen a lot of organisational change. Maybe you've had some redundancies. Maybe you're seeing high sickness absence. Maybe you're seeing high turnover. Maybe you've had some exit interviews that have made you go, ooh, things like that. Or high, lots of conflict, lots of grievances coming across your desk, that kind of thing. So it will then kind of take the form of a review. So we'll have an assessor come in and interview all the members of the relevant team or teams, asking questions around those kind of themes, and most importantly, asking them what they want to do about it. So it's an empowering process that kind of involves the team in fixing the problem themselves rather than doing something to them. It obviously sits outside of the formal process. So if you've got teams that have been quite bruised by grievances or are feeling kind of low, it should be a really positive, future-focused intervention that will help them kind of rebuild from the ground up and give you as the organisation a real in-depth overview of what's going on.
How would you say it's different to mediation? Because a lot of things that you described there are what I would expect to see as outcomes from mediation.
Yeah, I think some of the skills are the same, and most of our assessors are, well, all of our assessors are mediators as well. So a lot of those skills are used within the process, but the individuals will be interviewed separately. It's also completely anonymous. So the report produced at the end is non-attributable. So it's a really safe kind of environment for them to kind of explain how they really feel, offload, because often that's something that it's not really great to do. So all of the negativity can come out, and then the assessor will kind of focus them on that sort of future focus space. It differs from mediation because there's not a specific kind of conflict goal. It's not about the relationship between just two people or just a group of people. It's wider than that. It will be more organizational.
Okay. And then there are any scenarios where neutral assessments just wouldn't work or where they just shouldn't be used?
Yeah, I think if you've got a sort of a live grievance going on or something like that, or redundancies happening live, things like that, really negative, heavy situations, it would be good to wait until afterwards. It's a really good intervention for focusing on the future rather than, rumbling along while there's sort of formal processes happening. So I would certainly wait to apply it, um, you know, wait till those sort of situations are wrapped up before you go for it.
And are there any particular situations where it would make sense to use neutral assessments? We talked about when we shouldn't, but I suppose my next question is when should we?
Yeah, I think that it's just really useful when nothing is quite working as it should and you're not sure why. Or even you're really sure why, but want to involve your teams in finding the solution themselves. So sort of post redundancies when morale is really low, um, sort of high sickness absence, turnover, that kind of thing. Post conflict, after big grievances have taken place, a really sort of positive, future focused intervention to use at that stage.
And do the individuals who are kind of facilitating the neutral assessment, do they have to be qualified in a certain way? Like, how does that work?
So we choose all of our assessors based on their kind of background, skills, and experience. So we've got assessors who have legal background, so that can be really helpful. Lots and lots of HR experience, and obviously that mediation spin as well, which is really helpful. So they're all just really skilled and experienced in dealing with different types of difficulties within organizations and helping steer that in the right way. And mostly that will come out in sort of the questions that are asked, and keeping that really relevant to the specific situation that the organization is dealing with, and focusing really on helping those individuals pull out the goals, their individual sort of goals and hopes for the process are.
And just in terms of kind of practicalities then, could you maybe talk us through a few examples, but not naming any names, so that people have got a little bit more of a flavour in terms of how neutral assessments work kind of in practice?
Yeah, certainly. So in the past, we've obviously done lots of them, but off the top of my head, we've done one that was specifically around a period of real high complaints that an organisation had had. So it started out as a kind of a what went wrong piece, but then was much more focused around kind of how do we make it better and what can we do to make it better, and the kind of supportive elements needed for the staff involved. We've done a lot around kind of organisational change post restructure. That's really powerful because obviously people are shaken by any kind of change on that level. So to involve them positively in the next steps is a really powerful thing.
Mm.
And then again, on that kind of same vein, if you've had sort of really high level conflict, we've done some around, if one of the directors has exited, and there's been a kind of a real toxic, bad taste left in the mouth after something like that. It again can be a real sort of a positive next step for organisations that have been through something and might be feeling a bit bruised.
I really like that theme of getting employees involved or people involved in kind of
Yeah.
trying to make things better, because I genuinely believe that people will support what they help to create and they don't feel like they're forced to do. So I think that's a really, really cool way of dealing with what probably could have been quite a difficult situation. Like that a lot.
Exactly. And that's the real beauty of it, because it's so empowering for them. And there's lots of different ways that we can approach it. We might do some surveys on top of interviews. We might, look at old data as well. So we can really personalize it to what the business is needing and looking for.
If people are now interested in neutral assessment, what's the best way for them to get hold of you so that they can get booked in?
Well, they can give us a ring or drop us an email.
I'll pop that in the comments.
Don't make me read the email about it. So long.
God bless you. Thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate it. And I will definitely be to you again soon, probably later on today.